Hey, there's this kid who I went to, who I knew my whole life basically. I haven't really been in contact with him in over, it's been years. I haven't seen him since high school, but he's one of those people who I grew up with when I was a child. So those kind of people are always close to you in spirit, even though you're not close to them physically. Now, the reason why I want to speak about this guy is because he always fascinated me because he's always been very successful. Now, uh, he's always been very successful and he's always been very mature for his age. Now, I can actually remember going back to elementary school when he and I were in the same graduating class. We left fifth grade together, and we went through we went to we met in the third grade, and I can remember distinctively fifth grade graduation. We R. Kelly, one of R. Kelly's songs was our graduation song, and we sung it. And I remember distinctively that he was like, he got the award for being the best student or something like that. But even prior to that, he's always gotten honor. He's always gotten scholar roll, right? And after elementary school, I lost contact with him until high school, until about the 11th grade. In the 11th grade, my friend Devon actually appeared at my high school. He had moved into the same into the jurisdiction where my school was. So we reconnected. That's him right there with a team of realtors. He's a real estate agent. He was a school teacher. And I think right now he's learning to fly. He's doing something with the Coast Guard right now. I'm not sure exactly what, but he's doing something involved with aviation. And yeah, this is him. He's doing something with aviation. I think he's actually learning how to be a pilot. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him in a while. I just hit him up on Facebook and we had a little small conversation. But I told him, man, I said, man, I'm always checking you out on Facebook, and you're one of those people in my life where I have a lot of respect for because I used to go to his house. We actually lived in the same neighborhood when we were little, when we were children, about 8, 9, 10 years old, 11 years old. I remember watching when the year 2000, when George Bush and Al Gore were competing for the presidency. I actually remember being in his house watching some of the debates, not watching them intentionally, but them being played in the background because his older family members were watching it. Now, Devon lost the two most important people to him. He lost his mother and he lost his grandmother. And he grew up in the inner city like I did. He did not grow up in a special neighborhood. He did not have any special privileges. But for some reason, he always achieved and he always executed goals and stuck to tasks and things of that nature. And it amazes. It just always amazes me. And it just goes to show you that no matter where you come from, no matter, I mean, because he lost the two most important people to him at a young age, and that could have been something that took away his motivation or something like that, but it didn't. He continued to go from being on scholar roll in elementary school to doing very well in high school to actually going to, I don't know if he went to college. Yeah, he went to college. He studied divinity at Regent University. So teacher at Richmond Public Schools, realtor, and chaplain candidate at the U.S. Navy. Okay, so he's a chaplain in the U.S. Navy. Meaning, so he's like he's a chaplain in the Navy. So basically, he's a very successful guy, man. And like I said, man, I've always been impressed by him, and and like I remember when he was actually he worked for the post office, and he just he went to VCU. Yeah, so he graduated from yeah, he graduated from college, ODU. Then he also studied religion at Regent University. So he went to a regular college, then he went to a religious college. And I've always been impressed by this guy, man, because he's always been, first of all, he's a Christian, he's very serious about his faith and all of that. And like I said, man, it's just like, what's the difference between him and anybody and these other kids that grew up in the hood, grew up in the inner city that don't do well, you know? And he has a brother and a sister, and they're both doing very well as well. And some people will say, well, it's the family values. But he lost the most important people to him, his grandma and his mother. You understand? So, what is it that made Devon? Because Devon dresses like a regular guy from the hood. He doesn't. He's not like some square guy or whatever. He dresses urban. Check him out. He dresses urban. And, like I said, man, I just have always been impressed by my friend, man. Because he's somebody that I remember from high school, from elementary school. I remember the day I met him. You know what I mean? I remember the day that I met him in elementary school, and he's always been successful. And it's just when I see him, I see the potential for these kids in the inner city. Because Devon lost the two most important people to him at a critical age, a young age, but he became so successful in life. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, he didn't live in a fancy neighborhood. He lived in the inner city. He went to city schools, but like he told me in after a little conversation on Facebook, you can do anything you put your mind to, and I think he's the perfect example of that. And like I said, man, he's a guy who I've known my whole life, and I've always been impressed by him. Peace.